is lost, and because they lost their innocence, out of paradise you go. You cannot be here. But in this chapter, we return back to paradise, not innocent, not blind, not deaf, not with amnesia, not forgetting, but instead we return to be healed. The leaves of the tree are for the healing of the nations. When you hear nations, you should hear the word history. The leaves of the tree are for the healing of history, of our past. Meaning we return to paradise, not forgetful, but we return knowing our past, but healed from it. God heals us from our past and begins the relationship anew. That is what it means when he says, I make all things new. It doesn't mean he kicks out and makes you forgetful. It means he heals you, sets you free from your past, and starts anew again. This is that beautiful image in Revelations. This is what our hope is found on. This is what we look forward to in the Lord. And this is how we ought to look at our past. God is not going to make you forget. God is trying to get you to be free from it. One of the toughest things to do is sometimes when you look back, one of the things that may happen when you look back, if you're really, really honest, really look at it, sometimes you realize you repeat a lot of the same mistakes. When you look at the past, you realize, my goodness, I've been making the same mistakes. You got out one relationship into another, a brand new person, and somehow you end up in the same place because you end up making the same mistakes. You leave one job and go to the other because now you want to try to start on a new start, but you end up doing the same mistakes. Sometimes this happens. I may be the only one, but sometimes it happens where you realize, my goodness, there is a lot of repeating that goes on in my life. And so this repetition of the past happens sometimes when we fail to look at it squarely in the eyes and let God heal us of our past. When we are unable to really learn from it. When we are unable to really just stare at it and say, Lord, I need your grace because my past is not filled with perfection or even with full-on righteousness, but it is filled with mistakes, with shortcomings, with failings, and I need your love and grace to help me learn from this. Only when we can learn from our past can we be free from it and free from repeating it over and over. And then something happens where we no longer repeat the past, but we remember the past. And when you are free from repeating it and are able to just remember the past, you are then able to see all the ways, even in our mistakes, all the ways that God has been so good to you. But if you cannot look squarely into the past, if you cannot, with the faith and trust in God, look it in the eye, you may be unable to learn from it, and so you're doomed to repeat it. You all know that quote, those who don't learn from history are what? Doomed to repeat it. This time is the time where we look back at our scripture and realize God's not trying to do something incredibly new. God is trying to bring us back to the way he wanted it in the first place. God wanted a Garden of Eden, and humanity got kicked out. But now God is bringing them back, bringing us back. And it is beyond innocence. The love of God and the grace in our lives is beyond innocence, where we return with our scars. But our scars don't show that we're ugly. Our scars just show that we survived. That through the grace of God, we survived some battle blows and some wounds. We return to the Garden of Eden, perhaps with scars, to be healed by God. And you know who welcomes us in? Is Jesus in his resurrection body, who has scars himself, welcoming us back to the Garden of Eden. This is beyond innocence. You should not ever think that the Lord is just going to wipe the internet history You know, the internet history, wipe it clean. And therefore, there's no internet history. No. There's going to be there. That's kind of the hardest thing about sometimes our life of faith and grace and forgiveness, especially with the Lord. You realize that the Lord gave you a new chance, but you still remember. And sometimes you still feel guilt. God gave you grace, but you still are holding on to, I can't believe I still said that. I can't believe I still did that. I can't believe I did not say that when I should have said that. I can't believe I didn't step up for my friend or my family when they needed me. I can't believe I lied to those people that way. You know, you still hold on to the guilt, and you're just hoping maybe there can be a clean slate, a clean internet history where all of that is gone. That is not how we are forgiven. God does not wipe it completely amnesia-free, but instead, God says, though it's there, I will heal you of it. You will not be poisoned by it. You will not be bound by it, and it will not be the only thing to define you. What defines